What's up, everyone? This is Danny James. I am here again for the DKW YouTube channel, and today I am joined by a very special guest, and that is DKW's General Manager, Matt Ball.
Hi Dan, how you doing?
Yeah, I am very well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate.
So, obviously, we are in really tough times at the moment in the world. So the first question is going to be a little bit a bit out there, I suppose, but what for you are the plans for 2021, like when eventually we can get fans back into DKW shows?
Well, I mean, we're looking to get bigger and better. Obviously, for those of you who may know, obviously Lucas originally took a sort of break towards the end of 2019. So it was myself and a management team that was running DKW at that time, and we're still sort of continuing it now. Just slightly changing the structure. So we've definitely got plans of things we wanted to follow through from there. Obviously, we've reset all the champions. So, all the titles except from the British Heavyweight Championship are now vacant. So, it could be a thing, a title that's very close to my heart. It's the Showcase title. I'd love to see that come back. We've got some of our stars who unfortunately haven't been able to be on Demolition. We'd love to bring them in. We've got so much talent all over the country. Obviously, you've seen Reece Ryan come in. He's doing very well for himself, and he's a proper up and comer in this country. We're also bringing on new fresh talent. So we've got yourself, Andros J. People ain't necessarily got their name out there yet, but DKW's done an opportunity. So we just want to give everyone a chance and show what DKW can do.
And you talk about like new talent. I mean, is there anybody that that maybe we haven't yet seen on Demolition that you're looking forward to like putting out there pretty much in front of everybody when we can eventually get fans back and you can eventually obviously start recording live shows again?
Well, I mean, that'll sort of ruin the surprise, wouldn't it, really, Dan? So, I mean, there's a couple of people in our academy. So, obviously, we've been running the academy since 1998. We've got some proper good guys in there, guys and girls, I should say, for that matter. I mean, one particular person I'd like to mention who hasn't been on Demolition yet, who's been a small feature on our shows before all this happened, the Titan Tom Edwards. He's a man who had no real experience in this kind of sport or anything similar, and he's come on leaps and bounds, especially his professional development. So it's something we really want to do is bring him into the fold. I'd love to see him get a few matches under his belt, see where he can go, and he could potentially be the next heavyweight champion.
And on the subject of champions, you mentioned just now that obviously all the titles at the moment, apart from the British Championship, are vacant. So when we do eventually get the shows back, will we see the return of any of the old championships, or are you looking to maybe bring in anything that's new that people have not seen before?
I mean, there's always time and credit. If so, one of my particular roles I head up sort of like creative ambitions. So, do we want to create a new championship? Do we want to create a new division? Only time will tell. Once again, I'm not really going to reveal any secrets. But a full intention of mine is to bring back the Showcase Championship. As I said before, it's a championship close to my heart, and it really does what it says on the tin. It showcases what we have. Whether it's in the academy, whether it's talent across the country, that to me is one of the standout championships, and it's a big role to have on the show. So I'd love to bring people in. We've got the tag team championships. That's something we can do. We want to bring in more tag teams, exciting tag teams. The Rebellion. I'm very good friends with both members of the Rebellion. I'd love to bring that championship back and get competition for them. Two of my sort of proteges, if you will, the Brotherhood, Harry McDonald, the Big Mac, and Charlie Brooks. I want to see them come into their own and really hold that championship. So it's definitely something we're looking at. Only time will tell.
I suppose obviously everything at the moment is all dependent on the state that the world's in, and when you can eventually get back, and it's then I suppose it's going to be a case of when do you do it? Do you do everything at once? Do you do it gradually? That kind of stuff. So, I mean, if, for example, if you could say if you knew a date, for example, for the next show, what sort of big matches would you maybe plan for that show? Like, is there anything in particular that you could say, right, okay, we've got the Dufresne Barrett for the British title. anything else that you could turn around and say, I would want that on a show to showcase this is what DKW is going to be all about?
I mean, there has to be a main attraction. So if you look at, for example, the first show in my tenure was the 2K20 Rumble. So we had the Rumble, which is, such a synonymous match. People who know wrestling, they know a Rumble. And that's, it was a really big event. We had 3 class matches before the Rumble even began. So my ambition would be to have that headline match. So, we've got, in a sense, like you said, we've already got that already. We've got David versus Goliath. David being the heavyweight Lewis Barrett, and the Goliath clearly being Sam Dufresne. They're complete opposites. And, as much as I love Lewis Barrett, it's a championship. No one really expected him to win, but here he is. Can David really knock off Goliath for one big time, properly one-on-ones? We've never really seen that. Obviously, the way he won it originally was a 4-way. But can he take on Sam Dufresne when there's no one else there? Only time will tell.
I mean, he beat Lucas Jackson in a one-on-one match. I mean, there was obviously you yourself banned Pris from ringside for that match, and that was like the odds properly stacked against him there, because obviously Lucas got to pick the stipulation for that match. He chose a chairs match, and Sam came out victorious in it. Obviously, Lucas being Lucas was not too happy with the outcome of that. So I think that you'd look at that and you think, oh, that could stand Lewis in good stead, really, going into the match against Sam Dufresne. But obviously, like, you will be a man that's in the know about everything that's going on. But from a fan's perspective, if you were looking at this match, who would be your pick to win it, like from a fan's point of view, rather than a booker's point of view, kind of thing?
A fan's point of view, to me, there's only one clear winner. You want to go with the good guy. You want to go with the man who defies odds, the underdog. Lewis Barrett, everything he's done. I mean, if we go to, this is a bit of DKW history for you. If we go to Lewis Barrett, one of Lewis Barrett's very first matches, he was dressed as a banana. So, from, I'll get that picture, and we have to stick this on the thing. So we have to put it large, like in front of the whole screen. We'll definitely do that. But he's gone from Lewis Barrett, billionaire Barrett, banana Barrett, all these little things, up to all the things he's come through, all the odds he's defied, to now be the top of the tree. And what bigger feat is there to beat the biggest, best guy on our roster in Sam Dufresne? There's no question Sam Dufresne's record either. He's been wrestling for so many years, and he's such a mass man. So personally, as a fan, I'd love to see Lewis, tick that box.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, like, being up close and personal, like, to be able to watch the two guys compete, they're obviously very, like, different styles. You've got Sam is literally just like balls to the wall, like he'll just punch you in the mouth and leave you laying, whereas Lewis has got like a decent technical style. We can do some of the high flying stuff as well. So I think they really complement each other in that sense for that kind of match, really. But yeah, I just think obviously we've kind of touched, I think, on most of the bits, really. But it's obviously the main thing, I guess, now is, what can we expect from DKW when the shows do eventually return, is probably the last thing.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of content, I mean, obviously at the moment, as we've said, there's an ongoing situation in the world. We can't name it for certain reasons, but this situation is ongoing, and we're doing whatever we can. We're not just going to sit back. We can't do physical shows. We know that. But we will bring products like DKW Demolition, which has been a massive hit, by the way. All these throwback shows, the awards. I mean, naturally, the awards won't really be brought to light. It's usually like a inner club thing. But to bring you guys into that is exactly what we do. We want to have more fan interaction, because there's a difference and a niche that we have. We're not just the show that, pay a ticket, come to the show, and that's it, done. We want you to be involved. We want you to have a say. I mean, personally, I'd like to get to a stage at one point where we can have fan picked matches. What's the crowd want? The no holds barred match,
like a Cyber Sunday kind of thing.
Yeah, it's interactiveness. And I think bringing the content that we do, your interviews, I mean, you're such a good interviewer. I'm really glad to have you on board. Have the interviews, which is one part of content, the shows, all these little things we can add. It's just bringing people to life, and people need that happiness at the moment, and that's exactly what I want to deliver with DKW.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, for me, it's obviously you guys have welcomed me in as well with open arms, and it's felt like a family kind of thing from like the minute you kind of step foot through the doors, and I've literally been there for one set of tapings essentially, and just that feeling that you get of being a part of something straight away, and the feeling of like looking at everything online and how the fans are with you guys. It does seem like when you do eventually get back, the fans are going to just love what they see, and let's just hope we can get back as soon as we can, get back in that ring and start entertaining the fans again as much as we can. So yeah, so I think pretty much I think that's everything from us today. You've been DKW GM Matt Ball. I've been Danny James. We just want to say to everybody at home, thank you so much for your ongoing support throughout this tough period. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And we will see you hopefully back in a ring when it is safe to do so. Take care.